Welcome, race fans, to the 2022 Smokin Gobbler Truck Series Elite Racing League presented by Thunder Valley E-Stock Car Racing Association. You are here at Daytona. It's with me, Gerald Campbell. I'm going to be your lead announcer for tonight and for the majority of this season, as well with our wonderful producer bringing you these wonderful shots from Daytona as the sun's setting and the trucks are going around. We'll see the sparks tonight, all brought to you by David Huckleberry. Joining in later on tonight, Harrison Taillon, and we got Chris Wright in here as well, is going to participate a little bit into announcing. So you had a whole host of announcers all excited for this truck series race, and I'm going to tell you why. There was so much hype for this race and so much hype for this series. We had 19 trucks go home tonight. That's how many showed up tonight to race, that we ended up having 19 fail to qualify in. But all that left us was some of the best drivers in the e-racing that you will find. And I got to be honest with you, if it's anything like last season, David, I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Last season we saw a driver that was not even talked about for the majority of the race come home with a victory, and that can play out again tonight. When you come to Daytona, it's anybody's game. But I wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to Dixon Smoke Meat, which is now the Smoke Gobbler Truck Series. They were on board with us last season, joined us again for this season as our series sponsor. David, I gotta say, I'm super excited for tonight. They're going to be going qualifying here just now, but can it top what happened last season? I mean, there's a lot that can go on at Daytona, but I mean, can you imagine anything better than what we saw last season here tonight?
Oh, I can always imagine better. We'll see. We got a lot of new names here, so we really don't even know what to expect. A lot of rookies. A lot of familiar names that had to work to get into this race, so it'll be interesting tonight.
That's true. There is a lot of new names, and that's because with the Elite Racing League here, we use the Truck Series as a initiation race, I guess you would say, initiation series. If you can make it in trucks, you can show that you can drive. They bring you up into the other series, the Xfinity and Cup, which ultimately provides us with a lot of new names, a lot of unknowns, which just adds to the excitement because we don't know who's fast. There's a few drivers in here I've never talked about. They may be the dominant driver. We have no idea, and that's what adds to the excitement because in the Truck Series, there's so many unknowns going to it. In the Elite, in the Xfinity and the Cup, it's usually the same players you see up front. But in the Truck Series, when you win a championship, you're not allowed to come back. It has to be for the drivers that are trying to work their way through. So all you see is the ambitions and the hungry driving like you do in the Truck Series that you will see in no other Elite Racing League. So I just can't wait. They're qualifying right now. Joining us with us as well is Chris Wright. Hey, Chris, you got us?
Yeah, I got you. I was just letting you do your thing, man. I got called off the bench here really late. I know Harrison's trying to get in here, so when he comes in here, I'll step back out if he can get in here, but couldn't pass up an opportunity to sit up here with you and David and sit in on one of these truck races that I hear so much about.
Chris, you've been like me. We've been around the elite in iRacing and joining different leagues and all that. Is there as much anticipation, almost intense build-up inside you as a beginning of a season for maybe some of these drivers that have never experienced elite racing? Can you imagine what some of these drivers that have no idea what they're going to get themselves into and the hard driving for the rest of the season, all starting tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's, a lot of new guys. Like you said, the Truck Series is kind of that stepping stone series where kind of Chad makes everybody go if they've never been here before. And so in that, you're going to have a lot of guys who are new, who, are going to come into league racing and try to do it and try to get better. And then you're going to have some guys who maybe nobody knows, but they're going to come out with speed really quick that everybody else is going to have to watch. And I would not be shocked if a guy who is new to the series wins the championship at the end of the year.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of strong new talent last season now that has worked themselves into racing other series and elite, and I can't wait to see how they progress in the upper echelons of Cup and Xfinity, but they all got their start here. And that's where it all comes down to. There is going to be 11 races to race your way into the chase. It is not a win and guaranteed in, but a win definitely helps, and it comes down to the start of the season here at Daytona. You can get off to the right track with a victory in hand and definitely help your chances of getting in to that chase, because we just saw 19 drivers fail to get into the Daytona race. We're going to see another 30 drivers fail to make the chase. That's how hard it is in this truck series. It's not like the Cup and it's not like the Xfinity. There's more drivers entered into this truck series than any other series in Elite, and that just shows how important and how big it would be for any of these drivers to make it into the chase. And once I say again, it starts tonight here at Daytona. Well, qualifying's just about to wrap up. Looks like there's about a minute left. A couple drivers that we would normally see up in the top of qualifying. Jeff Green. Yes, that's Jeff Green, the Xfinity champion. Back in, what was that, Chris? Was that 2002 that he won the Xfinity championship?
I believe it was 2000. I think by 2002 he was Cup racing.
Oh, you might be right on that one. So 2000, he won in what everyone would remember as that chocolate milk scheme, the Nestle Quick. Number 10
he
yellow.
He didn't just beat him that year, though. I mean, he absolutely destroyed him.
Well, we're going to see if Jeff Green, I believe what I heard, he's going to attempt to try to do the full season. We'll see if he can be able to have that hot streak he had in real life here tonight. And so far, with 8 seconds left, it's looking like he's guaranteed for the pole position right now.
Yeah, and I can't speak a lot for the Truck Series, Gerald, but last year in the Xfinity Series, as the season went on, Jeff got faster and faster everywhere. But Daytona and Talladega are places where Jeff has always been really good and right at the front, qualifies well, races well. So I don't think anybody would be surprised to see Jeff be able to win this thing tonight.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see how he holds up out in front. He's going to lead us to the green flag. I'm going to give it over to David Huckleberry here, and he is going to give you a rundown of tonight's Gladiators.
All right, as the guys have been saying, Jeff Green is going to start on the pole in the first position at 52.239 on his time. Trey Eidson, a rookie, is in second. Latham Joyner, a rookie, in third. Daniel Martinez, fourth. Scott Crump, fifth. Matthew Weeks, sixth. Alexander Van de Zandt, seventh. Dustin Durer, eighth. Ty McIntosh, a rookie, in ninth. Tyler Fody in 10th. Sam Boutwell in 11th. Kwame Scott, a rookie, in 12th. In 13th, Jeff Noe, a rookie. 14th, another rookie, Leighton Norgard. 15th, Robert Hill. 16th, Ethan Burrell. 17th, Trey Holmes. 18th, the rookie, Adam Newbert. 19th, Cody Harrington. 20th, another rookie, Andrew Hardcastle. 21st, Ethan Stanley. Marked as a rookie. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll have to look at that. Zach Evans, 22nd. Michael York, a rookie, 23rd. Cash James, 24th, a rookie. 25th, Tom Bourne. 26th, Corey Abbott. 27th, Chad Frankenfield. 28th, Tyler Dixon. 29th, Wesley Crump is a rookie. 30th, Nathan Mon. I'm going to go with Mon until I hear differently, a rookie. 31st, Cole Snyder, a rookie. 32nd, Kendall Noah, player. 33rd, Sean Ryan. Number 29 in 34th position, Trevor Elam. 35th, Dylan Jones. And 36th, Michael Goodman. And rounding out the field, Kynan Jones, a rookie, in 37th. Alec Balvans in 38th. Mark Murphy, another rookie, in 39th. Cody McCorkle in 40th. Brent Jones in 41st. Ray Bracey, 42nd. Michael Hosack in 43rd. And Shane Therian in 44th. And that was a mouthful.
Yeah, that was a mouthful, but you did very well there. We will get the names better. Sean Ryan will contest to it. It sometimes takes a long time for me to pronounce your name correctly, but we will get there. Stick with us if you continue racing in this league. We sure hope so, because there's so much excitement. There's so much fun going to go on. If it's anything like last season, there's so many walk away with the win here, or a win before the end of the regular season. But it looks like the pace car is leading them around right now. Well, you saw right there, Chris, there is a lot of rookies. You'll see them with the R in parentheses around them. They are the rookies that you would see. So this is their first season in Elite. There's a few of them that I do know. Kwame Scott is a driver. If he's going to be running the full season in Elite Truck Series, right there is a definitely championship contender.
You know who I'm looking at, Gerald, is Cole Snyder. He just won the duel for the Daytona 500, raced his way into the Daytona 500. Didn't qualify that well over there, but he raced well, so that tells me he knows how to draft. That's a guy to watch tonight. And then I don't know if you hit on this, we got the restart zone, the new procedure for Elite this season.
Well, yes, we do. Well, the pace car is going to be off. We are going to go green where the racing gets good and the good gets racing. We will crown a Daytona champion in 100 laps from now. Jeff Green gets out to a good start and leads the field here going into turn 1. You see them side by side going down into turn 1. No one looking to go 3 wide just yet, but I did see in practice 3 wide was definitely an option. These trucks drafted up so well that there was a lot of pull for that third lane all the way to the high side. Maybe they'll take a little bit easy, but with so many rookie stripes on these trucks, Chris, it's hard to say they'll go easy.
Yeah, if you're a guy that's been in the league for a while, we got a couple of those. Ethan's out here, Ethan Burrell and Jeff Green. You're going to try to see what these new guys do, how they draft, the moves they make, if they're reckless, if they're, you're really going to base what you think of their driving and whatnot off of this tonight, the first time you'll see them. So if I'm one of those guys, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to make sure I leave extra room. I'm trying to take care of these guys who have been here, because at some point you will need them to take care of you.
Absolutely. Well, is it too early to say about points? Heck no. With only 11 races, we're going to go ahead and talk about points. There's stages tonight, lap 20, lap 40, and then a 60-lap run to the end of the race. The stages are going to be the end of 20, and there is a caution for the stages. So just in about 19 more laps, the caution will come out. The top 10 are awarded points. First place gets a stage point that will also go to their championship point as well. So top 10 is very important early on, because at Daytona, you never know when the big one's going to happen. You might as well go ahead and put some points in your back pocket early on if you're up there. Jeff Green still out front, holding the bottom line very well. Both lines are pretty well maintained. No one's really backing off from the back of them, and I'm not really seeing the trucks too unstable so far. So it looks like the pace right now is pretty nice. Ooh, so Jeff Green gets sideways down the front straightaway, still saves it, but that's going to allow that outside groove or outside lane to pull up a little bit side by side with Jeff Green going in turn 3 and 4.
Now, Gerald, I've never driven in a truck race in Elite in my whole Elite career. This is something I've never done. What is it like out here in Elite for the truck series at Daytona? How hard can you push? How aggressive can you be?
Well, with the truck series, the biggest thing is if you go on board with one of these drivers in the mid-pack here, there's no visibility. These truck spoilers are up as high as you can believe. They block a lot of view, especially when you ride on the back of someone there. So what ends up happening is you're pushing a driver and you have no idea how close they are. As you see right here, Kwame Scott right behind the 40 truck there. You don't know how close he is to the driver in front of him, unless the driver in front of him ducks out a little bit. So what ends up happening is you have to judge how much to push the driver, because you don't want to have a stack up. Usually stack ups lead to big things on the racetrack. As you see Jeff Green, yeah, just like that, Jeff Green gets caught out a little bit there. It actually goes to the high side. Close. Lane swappage there from our leaders, as it looks like Daniel Martinez will be out front right now with it looks like Matthew Weeks, and actually the 57 there of Edelson there is going to look to his outside. One of our rookie drivers trying to get out front early on here, will be one of the first rookie drivers to lead so far this season, and he's got a very talented, very experienced driver there of Scott Crump right behind him in the 90 truck.
Now, do you think Jeff Green did that because he was getting shoved sideways there a little bit and was fearful of the guy pushing on him? Like he was like, I'm going to be out here working with somebody else, because I don't want to get wrecked right in front of the field.
Yeah, again, this is the first time a lot of these drivers are going to be interacting with each other. So Jeff Green, as you saw, the 03, which is just the 3 on the truck there, it's a black number 3, that's Joyner. He's a rookie. Jeff Green's never met the driver. Jeff Green has no idea of his experience. So he has no idea the pushes he's getting, are they actually thought out? You know, these rookie drivers in here, they may have qualified very well, but qualifying at Daytona does not usually correlate to skill level in a plate drafting race, where drafting is the main key factor of how to get around to it. Oh, as you see the 57 get sideways, they're checking up big time here in the middle of the pack, still checking up further in the field. Wow, they're all able to keep it going there. You saw the 57 get sideways in the middle of that turn, and that checked up everyone. Everyone got on the binders there and slowed up, but somehow we were able to keep going green. No one spun around. A few drivers even went down onto that flat part, and we were able to keep it going. That's impressive from this field for sure, as both Chris and I will tell you, when you get pushed onto that flat part, the back end usually comes right around, and that would have definitely ended the night of a lot of these drivers early on.
Oh, for sure, and I think the reason that wasn't worse and we didn't wreck 20 trucks right there is that was 2 elite veterans down there working together on the bottom. That was Ethan and that was Matthew. Those guys, they've been around here, they've done a whole lot of racing in elite, and they saw that probably happen before it ever did. They were able to get checked up and not wreck a bunch of trucks.
Well, what that did there, Chris, was it definitely spaced out the field a little bit. You still see the 2Y going up front here, but behind them, it's definitely spaced out. But we are seeing some elite champions starting to work their way up to elite truck series champions on that high side, leading that outside group of Tyler Fody there in the 40 truck, the white truck you see out front in the top lane, and behind him, Chad Frankenfield. Both of those drivers will not be racing for points, as they are previous Truck Series champions. But whoa, Fody chops the nose off of Jeff Green to take that bottom lane. Again, you're seeing all of a sudden it's go time. These drivers are not waiting. They're not waiting to see if it's going to clear up at the front. They're going hard from the get-go as Jeff Green now surges to the outside with Chad Frankenfield behind him.
That almost wrecked Gerald. It split the pack up for about a lap and a half. If that happens in the Cup Series with the draft package the way it is, I don't think we come back together. But these guys came back together just less than 2 laps. It was incredible to watch how fast they all came back to one pack.
The Truck Series, as I stated, how big that wing is up on the back of these trucks, how wide the back end of these trucks are, adds so much drafting package to, or drafting availability for these drivers behind. It sucks you right up. It's more difficult to roll up behind a driver than it is to be able to gain that speed and pass them. It's harder to stay behind them, and that's saying something. And the Cup Series package that you see nowadays, you have to work so hard to be able to get behind someone. Not here, not in the Truck Series. It's all going ho. It's all trying to push that driver in front of you, try to get the lane that you're in going forward. As you see Jeff Green out front once again here on the high side.
Yeah, it appears to me that Jeff Green can stay at the front, and he's worked with a few different trucks, making a lot of friends. I think he's trying to show that he'll work with anybody who is willing to work with him, give good pushes. I think that's a guy that, unless something happens to him, he's going to be up here at the end.
Absolutely. Jeff Green has been known on these plate tracks to do anything possible to get that win. It does not matter who he works with. He's going to make the moves. He's going to make the quick reactions to be able to get himself the best opportunity. But you see his teammate there in the 32, that's a Do Good Motorsports, the same as Jeff Green. They both jump to the outside lane to try to see if they can get that outside forward. We have 10 laps to go in the end of this stage. 10 laps to go for the drivers in the top 10 to award points to themselves. Jeff Green was the first driver tonight to get a point. He got 1 point for gaining the pole position. So he is already out in front of the point standings, as well as he's led a lap. That's an additional point. And you get an additional point if you lead the most laps. So that's why you see these drivers trying so hard to get themselves back out front here early on in these Truck Series races.
Yeah, and it looks like we got a third line trying to form back there with the 99. He's trying to pull a third line to see if they can make this work. You told me that there was going to be some 3 wide. Let's see if it can happen here. What, 8 to go to the stage, 9 to go?
Yeah, that's one of those drivers I told you to watch out for. Kwame Scott, a rookie driver. I've known him in a couple other leagues. He is no rookie. Don't let that rookie strike confuse you. He is all speed. He is fast as can be, and he is making that third lane move and boogie all the way up to the front with only 2 trucks, maybe 3 now, as they start seeing that outside lane. Whoa! Wow! That was Jeff Green blocking that high side. That stopped the momentum of the 99 real quickly with a bumper to show for it.
Yeah, and what's good about that's just 2 trucks up there working together. That's not a full line. They don't have a whole bunch of help behind them. That is 2 trucks just pulling up through there on the very top.
Well, there is still side draft, and they have the availability to be able to have all the way at that high lane and get the most maximum amount of side draft. So 2 trucks can be able to do it, but it is so difficult to be able to run that high lane because you have to be so careful. If there's going to be a wreck, you are absolutely going to be involved if you're up on that third lane. So you just are praying that the drivers below you recognize that you're up there and give you enough space. But as you see, space is definitely something that's hard to gain out here.
And now that they've showed people that it'll work, they're going to get a little help. They got a third car pulling up here out of line, out of that middle line, trying to push within.
I believe the closer we get to the stage end, the more we'll see drivers trying to find a way to get out front. You see a couple drivers back there slowing down, maybe saying that there's a caution going to be coming out here shortly, either by a stage end or by a wreck, but we'll see which one it is. You see that third lane time is dropping back just a little bit. It's still very difficult to beat that.
We're going to have a lead
lane.
change here.
Yeah, that is. That's Scott Crump there, jumping to the outside right in front of Matthew Weeks in the 11 truck. They are going to clear themselves the Cody and jump right in front of him. Oh, contact a little bit. Matthew Weeks up into Kwame Scott. Oh, he saves it. These drivers, I'm telling you, these trucks must be pretty well into the track for so much contact to be made. And yet at 200 miles per hour, we haven't seen a single driver get turned around, even with the contact being made. It did split up the pack once again. All the drivers on the bottom lane gaining from that, as that will add a few new names up there now, as practically the entire outside lane had to check up for all the contact being made.
Well, that's 2 strikes. That's 2 close calls. I mean, how long can they get away with stuff like this without it being a bunch of cars? We'll see.
We'll see, and you will see it too here in the Elite Racing League here. It is great right now racing so far. All the drivers are still on the track. Not a single driver has left, and we haven't seen a wreck just as of
I'm going to tell you what, there was a move off of turn 4. They're still, we got them in the grass here. Here we go.
Never mind that. There's a huge pile up. Down the front straightaway, we see a few of our leaders that were up front for majority of that collected into it. Looks like Dustin Durr, a few others collected involved, as it looks to be about a 10-car pileup in the middle of the pack.
Chad Frankenfield's rolling away down there. He was in it.
You see it already started here. All of the 79 collected back into Dustin Durr, back up in front. You see Chad Frankenfield involved. Oh, there's the 7 of Ray Bracey there, or not Ray. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ray Bracey there in the 7 truck involved. Heavy hit in the front end. That definitely is going to end a few drivers' nights tonight. Michael Goodman involved, just barely got into the 6 of Zach Evans there.
Yeah, I'm seeing Cole Snyder got a pretty good piece of it.
Looks like it started with the 32 down into the 55.
Looks like Frankenfield and Zach Evans will continue to go. I don't think either one of those drivers will be out for tonight, as neither one got a lot of damage, but any damage here at Daytona definitely affects your strategy and affects how well you draft with the pack. Dustin Durr is going to have more likely engine damage from that. That's probably going to be the end of his hopes for winning this Daytona race. And
yeah, and I believe that is going to end the stage, right? I believe that's what Chad just said.
Yeah, it looks like that will end the stage. So our top 10, I'll give it over to David here, and he'll announce out some of the top 10 finishers and the points awarded to him.
All right, looks like it's going to be Tyler Fody, the first spot, Ty McIntosh second, Trey Aidson third, Scott Crump fourth, Ethan Stanley fifth, Alex Van de Zandt sixth, Jeff Green seventh, Sam Boutwell eighth, Adam Newbert ninth, and Jeff No 10th. Now, they will go back to what timing and scoring showed at the end of 16, so that may not necessarily be how the points go out, but that's how we had them at 18.
I believe that is the points finishing. I think those are the same drivers. So it looks like those drivers will be awarded some points here. There's still a chance for other drivers to still gain some points here, as we will have another stage at lap 40. We're going to give it back over to David here, as he's got some of our sponsor shout-outs to give out tonight. All these sponsors definitely are welcomed here, as they bring in this action for all of you at home and all of those that are racing into tonight's race as well.
All right, well, we're fortunate enough to have 3 premier sponsors this year. We have TA Services. For over 36 years, TA Services has been trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider, offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Our second premier sponsor is Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses. For small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. And finally, our new premier sponsor on board is BreezyCam. Breezy is a venture-backed tech company based in Toronto and Boston. They are on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. Gone are the days of carrying around a tripod or selfie stick. They help their customers and users tell better stories around meaningful moments. They let anyone tap into nearby cameras to capture group memories at iconic places, as if users were controlling their own native camera app, except now from a perfectly positioned vantage point. Today, you can find Breezy at well-known sports venues and cultural landmarks across 4 continents. That's BreezyCam. So those are our premier sponsors across all of our race series for the 22B season.
Well, we also can't forget about our race sponsor for tonight. This is Memory Lanes 250 at Daytona. Memory Lanes is in the heart of Athens, Wisconsin, a historic building with a modern-day touch, a place where young and old come together. What gives Memory Lanes its character, though, is its owner and operator, Randy Big Balls Walters. Big Balls Walters, and out of Memory Lanes. It's a bowling alley if you get gas, folks. So, gotta thank Memory Lanes for tonight's race sponsor, as well as we always gotta thank the Smoke Gobblers Truck Series. Gotta ask Dixon next time I see him if there's going to be an online website. I know he's building that product up. He has a lot of smoked meats, smoked barbecue sauces that he had in plans coming out. I can't wait to see what he has to try him out. But we're going to be go back green here, Chris, as we'll have looks like about a 20-lap shootout for the next stage. We got some new drivers out front here after that last wreck.
Yeah, and this is going to be the first time in an Elite official series here. You know, we did it in the duels, but I'm not going to count that as not an official race. We're going to get to see this new restart procedure. The iRacing's added all the restart zones, so we're going to get to see this in action.
And the green
on
flag,
the chip.
Yeah, they did a good job there. So with that new, they have to go in that restart lane that you see down there on the bottom. There's a blue line that they had to go off of, and so far it looks like they pulled it off perfectly there, as the field had no checkups. Really good start for the truck series here, as we got some new drivers up there. Ellison in the 57 on the bottom lane, and Jeff Green right behind him.
And how do you feel about that, Gerald? How do you feel about the new restart procedure? I think that should help with the restart wrecks that we have from time to time, where people can go, anywhere for like a 500-yard period. Now you got, 40, 80 feet, whatever that is. You kind of know when the leader's going to go.
Yeah, you would hope. There's still a little bit of discrepancy as to when the leader can go, but it's not like you're going to have to wait. It's like at Talladega, where the leader can go anywhere in 30 seconds from where the pace car comes off and where the green flag is at. So it gives a little bit of a smaller window. So maybe it'll help with checkups. And if it's just like we saw there, oh, you see Jeff Green involved in a wreck. We got a couple trucks around in the middle of the field there as they collect a huge collection there. Looks like Alex Ballvance involved. Jeff Green might have been involved in there pretty heavily. Yeah, there's Jeff Green rolling passes. He's got some door damage. Yeah, looked like that collected up in the middle of the pack in the middle of the turn there. I think that was Alex Ballvance there in the 97. Michael Goodman on his brakes hard there, avoiding it. You see a few trucks around there. Early on, wreck in this heat or this stage, they were still all clumped together, and that was unfortunate because that collected up quite a few drivers. And I can't emphasize how important points are early on. With only 11 races, a win is not a guaranteed in this series, so you've got to go out and collect as many points as you can. And with the elite rule, if you go more than 6 laps down, they park your car. So these drivers right now, they've got to hope that the damage is not to extent to where they go multiple laps down because of damage. So, and unfortunately for some of those drivers, that's going to be too tall of a task because we're probably going to have a few drivers out after that wreck there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it was Ethan Stanley's fault by any stretch, but man, both these wrecks now that have happened off his nose. I can't make that up. You got to feel bad for the guy being off his nose, whether it was his fault. I mean, they checked up there and he got into the back of Jeff, but I will say this: Ethan probably won't cause the next one because it looks like he might have gotten the hardest hit out of anybody right there. That car, I think, blew up when it hit the wall.
I believe the rule is if the admin deems you at fault for 2 times, you are parked for the race. So I didn't hear who they blamed for the last one. I don't know if that will.
So far, we have no tallies.
No tallies.
Yeah, I think they were both racing deals, but they were both off of his nose.
I think his truck is done for the night regardless there. Says he's a rookie. He actually raced last season and made it into the chase. So unfortunate for he was actually, I believe, in the Final Four. So unfortunate for him. He'll have to try to come back and try to see if he can make it up in the next few races here.
But that caution's bad for a lot of guys. But Chad Frankenfield was in that first wreck. He gave up a lap. Wesley Crump gave up a lap. And one of them, it looks like Frankenfield. Chad is going to get the lucky dog here. Not sure how competitive Chad's going to be, though. That's still got some pretty good damage on the right front.
Yeah, I'm not sure with Chad Frankenfield what's to gain for him. He's not running for points. He must just not have anything to do tonight, so he's just going to stick around. And wreck that can even the playing field between him and some of these drivers that still have a clean truck underneath them. That was not Alec Ballvance involved. Alec Ballvance still runs in second. That was Ethan Stanley that I was seeing there that got involved with Jeff Green. So far, I'm not seeing. Let's see. David, on the ticker there, do you think you can get it to go over to what?
The gap?
Yeah, the gap would be perfect.
I can do that.
I think you're doing lap times. There we go. Now we can get a good idea of who's on pit road there and how many laps down some of these drivers are, or if they're just plain out. I believe a few of them are.
And you talk about Chad not leaving what's he got to gain. I think Chad still thinks that truck can win this thing, man.
Chad always thinks he's got a truck to win, a vehicle to win. Even if it has no wheels on it, I think he can still think somehow he can get it to win. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll eat my words, and maybe Chad Frankfield's able to get himself up there. But
now, I'm not saying he still has a shot to win. I'm just saying I remember Kurt Busch winning the race here about 10 years ago with more tape on it than sheet metal at the end.
All right. Chris Wright picks Chad. I pick the field. So that's how we're going to go tonight.
Now wait, I am not picking Chad. I am not picking. I venture Chad will maybe be in another wreck. I don't think we're done wrecking yet.
No, there's still quite a few trucks out there. We hope that they can keep it green here, as we definitely would like to see maybe some strategy with some pitting and everything. The last stage will be 60 laps, so there will absolutely be a need for a pit for fuel, whether it be under caution or if it's under green. We hope to maybe see it under green, as that would just add some more challenges for these drivers to have to work through to be able to get tonight's win. And we say this, Chris, is there any track, even for the Truck Series, where you would want to win at first for the season? I would pick no other than Daytona.
I don't know. I guess I've never won Daytona, so to win the 500 would be big. But I think if you're looking at elite overall, a lot of guys like Chad probably pick the Indy 500.
Well, that's Chad. I'm talking about here in the elite, because when you win here at Daytona, you don't win a race, you become a Daytona champion. Even in the Truck Series, you become a Daytona champion. And what we see right there is Tyler Fode and Scott Crump timing that perfectly to see if they can be able to clear to the bottom. It doesn't look like, as they may end up getting stuck to the high side and allowing Alex Ballvans there, Alex Rose, the inside lane to the
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was Fode there, if I'd have stayed on the top. I might have dropped down to the bottom when I was clear and said, I tried to help you, Scott, but I got to do what's best for me to keep my track position.
Well, once again, every time there's a wreck about mid-part to high part of the field, we see new drivers starting to work their way up there. We see a driver there of Jones there in the 89. It's always good to see Brent Jones up there. He finds himself third place on that bottom row there, as we hope to see him run well tonight, as he's having a very good start of the season so far.
Well, I said I might have bailed on Scott Crump, but Scott just about got Fode clear down into one.
Well,
pretty good push on the bottom. Pretty aggressive pushing right now in these front two rows.
Well, we still have a little bit to the stage. We just saw a bunch of wrecks. You think that these drivers would see that this would be the time to be a little safe and a little bit cautious, as you just saw two massive pileups. You saw two wrecks that just ended a bunch of drivers. One of them was even close to the front of the field. But that's not what you're seeing right now. You still see these drivers pushing and shoving, and the back end's coming around a little bit as they get these massive shoves to try to get themselves out front. And I gotta wonder, is it just the product of the racing, or is it just some of these drivers out here just don't know better?
Yeah, Gerald, we've been out here in enough races to know, it doesn't matter how many cars you crash. You're going to still drive hard. You're going to race hard. It's Daytona, especially, the first race of the year. Nobody's points racing yet, so they're just going to go hard and try to be at the front, stay at the front, control the race, because the best place to be when there's a wreck is the leader.
Unless if you're the one that gets involved in the wreck as the leader. Right now you see a good still pack of trucks here up front, as we get down to around 11 laps to go before the end of this stage. Tyler Fode still rocking that high side there, as he just now ducks down to the bottom to get in front of that bottom lane. So now Scott Crump will lead the outside lane with Pusher Edelson. Is it Edelson? Is it Edson?
Eidson.
Eidson.
It's an Eidson. Eidson.
Eidson. We'll go with Eidson. That sounds good.
It's a good-looking truck, third truck on the outside there. Who's driving that? Is that Tom Bourne there in the 16? That truck looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, Tom Bourne's always had a really nice truck. He's got the 16 there tonight. And, he's got a different number than what's actually registering for iRacing. But, yes, that is a very pretty truck that he had. He's right now rocking that high lane there. I believe his teammate didn't qualify in, so the season that he won the Daytona, I believe he won, was it 2 seasons ago? I believe it was. 2 seasons ago he won Daytona with his teammates helping pushing him. He's not going to have that tonight as he's still finding speed here at Daytona, but without the help that he would like.
Yeah, but we got 3 veterans at the front right now, though. You got Fody, you got Van de Sant, you got Scott Crump. I don't think anybody would be surprised if any one of those 3 were to win tonight.
Absolutely, yes. They're still pushing and still drafting very well side by side here tonight. I haven't seen really a lane that has been preferred. It's just kind of been even. Both inside and outside lane has been even. We have seen a couple drivers take the third lane there, but at the cost of the second lane speed, and it just kind of backs both the high sides, the 2 high lanes there, back behind the bottom lane. But we haven't seen it just yet. We may still see it here when it's close to the stage. Points become a thought here in 10 laps. We may see some of these drivers try to work their way up a little bit closer to the front.
Yeah, and we're seeing a smaller pack. We still have 32 cars plus running out here, but it looks like we've got about 6-8 cars can't even keep up in the draft, one of those being Chad Frankenfield. Like, a lot of guys have lost the draft. It looks like we're sitting in about 21, 22 cars here in this lead draft.
Well, as long as some of those drivers, as I stated, you will have to park it. As you see them starting to come up on a driver right now that has a lot of front end damage. You just have to do what you got to do to stay on the lead lap or stay as many laps ahead of the leader as possible. Because like I said, when you go 6 laps down, it is the end of your night. You see them make quick work of the lap down car as he graciously goes below the line there to allow all the drivers to go by. We definitely appreciate that. We've seen instances in other races where that can go horribly wrong. And so far tonight, everyone's still playing it nice so far. Let's see if we can go on board with maybe one of these drivers here, so that way the fans here at home can get an idea of how much patience it takes just to be stuck behind the driver, and just how little tapping, how little movement in the steering wheel it actually does take to go around. You see here with Alex Van der Sant right behind Cody as he's trying to get that bottom wheel clear of that high line. Not really pushing Cody to turns as you would expect, as that would tend to get the driver in front of you loosened up, may cause him to turn around. Definitely pushing down the straightaways, but so far these trucks do look pretty stable, at least with some of these experienced drivers up front.
Yeah, it looks like the pushes are a lot less aggressive, especially like the second, third row and back. You got the first 2 trucks in each line pushing on the straightaways, but there isn't any of that 3, 4, 5 trucks deep pushing anything crazy like that. Everybody kind of, I think they have, it might not look too calm, but I think, they have calmed down a little bit here, not wanting to be so aggressive with the pushes.
Your first leader truck to finish to be able to have a chance at winning, but they are coming up on a few other trucks that are quite damaged. We'll see the papers. Looks like they actually got down low. That's Dustin Kerr down there. So good on those drivers once again to get out of the way. Fast moving vehicles here.
Now, what are you thinking you're going to do here, Gerald? Are you going to pit before the end of the stage? You're going to run to the stage and pit at the stage? Or is there an option maybe to stay out and just, can they make it on one stop from their last stop?
When they pit here, you might as well just go to the end of the stage, because you're not going to want to pit out of turn from the pack, because running by yourself, all that ends up doing is putting you a lap down. As you see some of those drivers going a lap down already to the leaders, you don't want to be separated from the end of the pack. So you've got to pit with the pack. So if the pack comes down at the end of the stage to pit, you might as well do that as well, just so that way you're on the same fuel strategy as them. As well,
so there is no caution for the end of the stage then, right?
There will be a caution at the end of the stage. The road will be closed 2 laps prior to the end of the stage, so they don't want any drivers trying to get a right idea of coming down pit road right as they cross the finish line. They do close off the pit road, make it illegal to go down pit road 2 laps prior to the end of the stage. So here they will be coming around in just a couple laps. That will mark the end of being able to pit. As you see, already a couple drivers making some moves here, trying to get up to the front of the pack before the end of the stage. Alex van der Sant jumps to the high side to see if he can be able to find his way around Fody. Has him cleared as of right now. Unfortunately, did not make the move to get down to the bottom. Scott Crump tried to give him one valiant effort of a shove going into that turn, and all that did was get them a little upset and allow Fody to once again get back up side by side with that outside lane there. So now Fody has a new person behind him pushing, and Scott Crump is very dedicated to the back end of that 97 truck there, trying desperately to see if he can clear himself from Fody. Well, we were wondering. We saw them calm. I think that's now starting to go away. I think we're seeing the aggression starting to build back up in these drivers, as here we come to 3 laps to go before the end of the stage. So points will be awarded once again to the top 10 and that all-inclusive stage point for winning the stage. They definitely are racing to try to see if they can gain that advantage on the rest of the competitors, as looks like the outside lane's not really doing a good job of staying connected, but still has speed.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we missed something that happened, but there was a bunch of cars that lost the draft all of a sudden. Not sure if we missed a stack up or what, but we are down to just 17 cars in this league draft.
Well, you saw it's very hard to get from 200 miles per hour down to 0. You see Alex van der Sant starting just now clear for the bottom lane there. But it's very difficult to stop when you're going 200 miles per hour, as they may just be backing away from a potential huge wreck that might be coming here shortly if the aggression oversteps its bounds. Right now, we haven't seen that just yet, but we really haven't seen anyone trying to make that high line work successfully yet either. So good chance that there still could be something catastrophic happening up front before the end of this stage, but right now you're still seeing this checker or this chess playing happening up front. Oh, Alex van der Sant gets a big shove from the 09 there, almost turned around on the banking there, going in down the front straightaway. As you see, pits are now closed, so it is impossible for any driver to go down pit road right now. Alex van der Sant still getting that push on the bottom lane. Fody once again unable to clear that bottom lane. Oh, Alex van der Sant getting a little bit of a push to the side, not forward like you would hope to, but still keeps it going forward, as here they come to 1 lap to go before the end of the stage. We did get to see it last time because there was a wreck to end the stage. This time we'll have a lap to go to close out the end of the stage. As you see, Fody getting a very good strong shove from Scott Crump, is able to clear himself from Alex van der Sant. We'll see if he ducks down to the bottom. He does, and now Scott Crump will try to see if he can take that speed and be able to get past the 40 on the outside. Side by side down the back straightaway. It's still Fody and Crump nose to nose going down the straightaway. As you see them shoving really full effect right now, as they are pushing really hard, coming around 3 and 4 to end stage 2. As right now, Fody has a complete truck length over any other driver. Coming to the line, it will be Fody. Alex van der Sant will lock up second place, and Scott Crump will come across in third place. Caution is out to mark the end of that stage, as Tyler Fody was able to play it out perfectly. Found himself out front once again, not really running for points, just for the glory of taking it from people. Is Tyler Fody taking that stage and taking away points from any of those other drivers. Maybe some of those drivers that are wrecked out maybe appreciate what Tyler Fody just did.
Yeah, it says on the back of his truck what he's here for. He's here for wins.
He's here for wins, absolutely. So far, looking very strong in tonight's race. Probably one of the favorites, if not the favorite tonight, has been Alex Fode, Fode. Alex Fode.
You trying to mix Alex and Fode into one there in a blender?
Well, that would just produce a driver that no man could ever stop if we did that, so let's not. Well, they're going to catch up to the pace car here, and I would believe everyone's going to be coming down pit road to go ahead and take on fuel, and some drivers may end up taking tires here as well. We still have 29 trucks on the lead lap, Chris, so there's still a lot of drivers that have to play out to see who's going to come out the victor tonight.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what kind of shape Wesley is in, but he should be getting the free pass right here. Wesley Crump should get back on the lead lap.
That is the brother to Scott Crump, so Wesley Crump is going to get back on the lead lap. That will allow us to have drivers to see around for Dylan Jones to try to see if he can get back on the lead lap, or he may just end up go ahead and taking on fuel now.
That truck doesn't look good, though. It's going to get its lap back, but it doesn't look like a truck that's going to be super competitive, especially leading the line.
Well, all the trucks are going down pit road right now. We'll give it back over to David while they're doing their pits for him to do another shout-out for our series sponsors. And then we'll go ahead and give the rundown of our drivers coming out of the pits.
All right. Ready? I wasn't ready for that, but here we go. Premier sponsors. We'll start with Breezy Cam. Breezy Cam is a venture-backed tech company based in Toronto and Boston. They're on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. Gone are the days of carrying around a tripod or selfie stick. They help their customers and users tell better stories around meaningful moments. Let anyone tap into nearby cameras to capture group memories at iconic places, as if users were controlling their own native camera app, except now from a perfectly positioned vantage point. Today, you can find Breezy at well-known sports venues and cultural landmarks across 4 continents. Our second is Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg Marketing, small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fans. We help businesses punch above their weight class. And finally, TA Services. For over 36 years, TA Services has been trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves that matters to you. Let the TA Services team make ship happen for you.
Well, we also have a race sponsor, Memory Lane. Always thank you to them. And Randy Big Balls Walters for sponsoring tonight's race, and of course our series sponsor, Smokin Gobbler's Barbecue. We'll have more on them once they come out with a few items that they decide to sell out. But we always like to thank them and Dixon for sponsoring this Truck Series League. I think he gets a good deal on his profits here. So he gets a truck series that just produces so much action like this. Well, Chris, I don't know if you'll be back with us again, but next week is going to be Nashville, a track where we'll finally get a good clear view of who's got it and who's not for speed for this season. Nashville, a concrete track there. It's a mile and a half, and we'll see how some of these drivers do there. I can wait to see who of these rookies may shine and show what they've got. There might be a few drivers after the end of the night having to make up points, and might see Nashville as a track that they have to really produce something, get some points behind their back, and get a run going for the rest of the season. Because there's only going to be 11 races in this season, Chris. So I don't know if he'll be around, but maybe it'd be exciting enough for you to tune in and watch with us.
Yeah, I didn't have this broadcast on my docket tonight, but I was just walking around that Daytona infield and got called into action. Was happy to come up here and join you. And real quick before we go back green, I just want to give a big shout out to Alex and everything that's going on there. One of our great Cup broadcasters, does a lot, and he's going through some tough times right now. Put on that event last week. Just overwhelming support. So much money donated. Thanks to everybody who tuned in and donated. All the drivers who donated and raced in that event. Just a great event, and hopefully Alex is back with us here before the end of the season.
Absolutely. Well, green flag is going to be back in the air. There's going to be no more stages. There's just going to be a race finish and a champion awarded to one of these drivers that's still out here, as we will have 55 laps before the end of the race. There will be a need for a pit stop for fuel. We will find out if that's going to be under caution or if they're going to be able to go green from here on out. Right now, Scott Crump doing a very good job of leading that inside lane to a surge, and will rocket him out to the front of the field here. Once again, a shakeup of a lot of different drivers we haven't seen back here. We got Goodman, John Ryan back there as well. Ethan Burrell, driver we haven't talked about at all. We know he's got some talent here at Talladega. He's back there as well, trying to get it going. As you see, a little mix-up there. Looks like Alex Vandersand is going to go ahead and try to get to the outside once again and get a shove, trying once again to get the lead here in front of Scott Crump.
Yeah, and looking here, I mean, you look through this field, and look who's got the clean trucks. It's the vets. It's Alex Vandersand. It's Fody. It's Crump. And then you mentioned Ethan finally showing up, coming up through the field. That truck he's taken very good care of that to not have the track position. Those 4 trucks are very clean compared to everybody else's.
We still got a lot of racing to go, folks. We're not even halfway just yet. Ooh, but you see the drivers getting really close side drafting.
That would have jumped them all, too. I would have jinxed them right there.
You would have definitely jinxed them there, but we're still going here. As you'll start seeing that outside lane trying to side draft harder and harder as the night goes on. The more desperate they get to try to get a run going, the closer you'll see these trucks in the turns. Right now, there's still a bit of a gap there as they're still playing nice, but the closer we get down to that checkered flag, the more you'll see these drivers starting to get much closer together. The more you can gain any kind of advantage you can get, we will all see it play out here. See 2 drivers actually. First time I've seen it tonight, where 2 drivers on the outside able to clear themselves, both the 57 there and the 97, able to clear that inside rope and drop down to the bottom. So now that we did leave the 89 out front there, but Scott Crump now jumps to the outside lane.
Yeah, that 57 is a new name for me. That's not a name I've seen a whole lot, so he's stayed up here at the front, and I'm sure these guys are willing to work with him. I'm not sure if he's a truck regular or if he's a rookie, but I mean, he's definitely been running at the front with these guys, so I think that's a good pusher. That was probably the best push I've seen anybody give down the backstretch.
Well, if you definitely want to show that you have the talent, again, most of these drivers may not do it as a rookie. Yeah, the longer you stay out front, and the more you show that you are, you know what you're doing, the more they're going to be able to work with you, the more they'll have confidence in pushing you. So pretty much all this time has been an audition for him to these other drivers out here, these experienced drivers, which is what he's surrounded by right now, is to show that, you know, he knows how to push, he knows how to keep a straight wheel. He wants them to work with him. The last thing you want at Daytona is to be alienated and not have a single driver wanting to be able to work with you. But right now, so far, he has been doing a very fine job of being able to keep that truck up front.
Yeah, and Gerald, you know as well as I do, when it gets down to the last 20, 25, basically after that last pit stop, there are certain people that can hang out at the back and show up at the end, and you're willing to work with them because you know, like even though Ethan hasn't been up there, Ethan Burrell, you know when it comes time, he knows what he's doing, you know you can trust him. But like you said, these rookies, their time to show what they can do is at the start of these races. So he has shown the 97, the 40, the 90, he's shown these guys, hey, I can be trusted later. I'm helping you here. We're all working together. And they'll be more than willing to work with him later, especially if they think it's going to help them win the race.
Absolutely. It's not a team-based entirely, but having friends out there and having trust in you is definitely the key when it comes down to it. But we've seen it also at the end of this. When it comes down to the last few laps, you'll work with anybody. He just hopes he can be able to find himself up front where he's at right now at the end of this thing, and at least have a shot at a victory here at Daytona. You see them all lined up side by side still. So far, it's been very good racing. Once it gets to around the 15th position there, they all seem to have lined up on the bottom. Makes me wonder if they're saving fuel back there, they're trying to see if they go a little long, or if they're just all trying to lay back there and see if maybe they can just try to save their stuff once again. A couple of those drivers like Chad Frankfield are just doing the best they can, just trying to hold on.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the situation and if you think you can go somewhere. A lot of times, you sit back there. I mean, you know this, Gerald. You sit back there and you're like, you can't really go anywhere if you're not willing to make it 3 wide back there, outside the top 15. You're really just not going to go anywhere. And I think everybody kind of thinks it's too early right now for us to be trying to force it 3 wide, trying to shuffle a guy out, trying to create another lane in the middle or on the very top. So I think they're just content to sit there and see how this shakes out. You got another pit stop. You probably won't need a full tank of fuel. So maybe you're thinking 2 tires and trying to figure out exactly how much fuel.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy still to be played. I'm not so certain that they can go on fuel. I still think that it's going to have to be a mandatory stop. For 55 laps just seems a little long to me. I don't believe there's any possible way that they can be able to make it there on the end. But right there you see a new little box that we had brought up there, gives you an idea of pit strategy and how long ago some of these drivers came down pit road to pit, and how when they actually came down and took tires or fuel. So that's a cool little box that David has brought us this year.
Yeah, I would say about 30 or 35 to go, that window will open, and you're only going to probably need 1 can. Maybe you have to put that second can in, but that's going to come into it too. You gotta kind of think, if we can save 6 or 7 seconds on pit road, and you can get some guys to do it with you, then everybody maybe does it. There's going to be some guys who maybe take 4 tires. It's really going to be interesting if it stays green, what the strategy is for these guys when they do pit, because they will not need a full tank.
Well, it's been the same cast of characters for a little while ago that have been up front. Fody, Vandersand, Crump. A lot of these drivers up here have just been showing their dominance here. Is it too early to go ahead and say there's favorites for sure in this that have a chance, or do you still think that that some of these drivers that are hanging out in the back are waiting to play their game, or do you feel confident saying that the win is going to be one of these drivers you see in this shot here now?
Oh, I don't think it's too early to pick fate. I look at those 3, the 40, the 90, the 97. Those guys, you're going to have to go up and take it from them. Ethan rode at the back. He's coming up through there. We got Kwame coming up through there. There's Brent Jones has proven, the last year, 2 years, he's been really good at this type of racing. So, yeah, I can see if somebody coming through the field here late is going to have a shot to win. They will. Anybody could still win this thing. But you're going to have to go up there and you're going to have to beat Fody and Crump and Van de Sant. Those guys have stayed here the whole time and controlled this race. So you're going to have to go take control from those guys if you want to win this thing.
We've seen a lot of strategy in the past. 2 years ago, or 2 seasons ago in Elite, the winners came from an early pit stop, and they were teammates. They were able to push their way, draft together, and they found themselves many seconds after pit stops were all done, and it was just a battle between teammates. Last season was more of a wreck fest, it came down to who was left at the end to finish out the race. This season, it's a mixture of both a little bit. There's still a lot of trucks. There's been a lot of carnage, but there's been a lot of trucks still on the lead lap, still with a shot to win it, and strategy still has a chance to play out. So a little bit of both playing out so far this season. How it will finish up at the end is still yet to be decided, as we still have about 44 laps left to go in this race. Again, next week will be Nashville. I hope everyone can tune in for us as you will finally see these drivers not have to be reliant so much on other people. You'll see them actually be able to go out with speed of their own and see how they can shape up, get a good sense of how the season may match up between them and other drivers to see if they can race their way into a shot at a championship before the end of this season. So it's a good matchup for next season. I think it's a good track to go to kind of get a good sense of speed from these drivers at Nashville. But we have, I believe, some road courses in mind for the end of this regular season. I believe there's Darlington. There's also let's see, Eldora in the dirt. So Chris, if you're gonna be in the chase, you're gonna have to be a master of multiple talents before the end of this regular season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting deal in the regular season. You know, we got the dirt race, like I said, road courses. You got to be able to be good at all of it, or just okay at all of it. If you're just okay at all of it, some people are going to struggle at the road courses. Some people are going to struggle. You know, I don't know about you, Gerald, but I can't race on dirt. That's terrible. That's for me. You know, I'm not saying it's terrible. It's going to be great to watch. Great for people tuning in to watch. We got the dirt. You know, the trucks at on dirt. We got I believe the next gen cars, the Cup Series is going to have a dirt race this season as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see dirt. I think this is is this the first time Elite has done dirt racing? Is that going to be what that is this season?
I believe for Cup, but in trucks we've had a few dirt races already. We've seen a lot of different things for the Truck Series. Truck Series has always been the introducer of new things, and that's what makes me love these Truck Series so much, is because we're not afraid to add something new to it, add new twist turns for these drivers, and always has an interesting schedule. And another thing that we'll have to think about is how many drivers will be attempting to try to qualify for some of these races. Can you imagine if we get to Eldora and there's 70 trucks trying to get into Eldora? I just can't imagine, and I hope to see it there as, you see the lead lap drivers finally working around some lap traffic that didn't go down to the apron. That's kind of what you see is just drivers scattering to try to find a way around slower traffic.
Yeah, but it looks like they got away with it. It was a little crazy there for a minute, but they all negotiated it pretty well.
Well, we hope you tune in. I think later in the season we have options for, I believe we're going to have something similar to what we had last season where we had the Dine and Dash. We'll see. It's going to be a little later in the season where there's a chance for you to win money. That's what it was last season. I believe we're going to have a new name, a new sponsor onto that, and chances for you to win money just by watching the race. Oh, as you see the 89. Did not plan that, I don't believe. Unless he fell asleep behind the wheel. He almost smashed that wall coming out of turn 3. Capes it behind Scott Crump there, but that was a handful.
And this would be the worst case scenario for the people if they get wrecked, obviously. But if a caution comes out right now, you're just outside of that would make this a fuel mileage race. You do not want to see a caution right now in the next 3 or 4 laps. You want to see this thing stay green and at least get inside the pit window before you see a caution.
Well, like I said, I'd be interested to see some green flag pit stops tonight, just for the mere fact that would add a whole new aspect of this race, is to see these drivers able to come down pit road effectively and allow their pit road entry to help determine the race winner. As you see, finally Scott Crump, after many, many laps of trying, finally get himself clear to be able to get back out front once again in front of Fody. Once again, going around the lap car there, as you see. Fody not satisfied with running second. He's here for, as his bumper says, for one thing, and that's for winning races. And I guess that goes for leading laps as well. Oh my gosh! There's a truck flying in the air. 66 just hooked it into the wall and saved a lot of trucks, and unfortunately for him, but he launched himself over the rest of the pack there. Holy cow! You'll watch here, the 66 hooks it into the wall and takes off flying. Oh, bad net code there. Bad net code.
Yeah, that is some huge net code.
I have never seen netcode do that. But we'll just be thankful that, unfortunately for Cody Harrington there in the 66, that collected nobody but him.
Yeah, when he hit that outside wall, it just stopped him and shot him. So, yeah, there was no way anybody was going to hit that.
That was no one's fault there at all. That was just, boy. I know Zach Evans had on his back bumper, "Don't launch me to space," but he's got competition for his space program here in the 66. That definitely definitely catapulted him, if not launched him high up into the air there for the 66.
That was some huge net code.
While you were wondering if a caution came out now, is it going to lead to strategy, if pit strategy? And I don't know. I'm not sure of what the fuel length is here, but I know for one thing, all these drivers are going to be coming down pit road to at least get fuel. Some may decide to take tires, but I have a feeling our leaders up here are probably going to just do a splash and go.
I am trying to ask around to see if this is going to be inside the fuel window or not.
Well, you see right now, Scott Crump has gotten to his pit stall. I do see left side tires going on him. You might as well, with the amount of fuel that they use. Tires, at least getting left sides, would take less time than just getting fuel itself. So, Scott Crump, as I stated, all these drivers deciding just to take 2 tires rather than 4 to make sure that they keep themselves out front, to keep the same cast and characters that are battling it out still in play here. As you see the 90 car leaving pit road with a 97 behind him and the 40 in third. Again, folks, we've been seeing the same cast up here, but that's not going to be the finish. That I don't believe. I don't think the people that we'll see at the end of this race will be the same drivers that we're talking about now. We may have a few of them that are still up there by the end of it, but I have a feeling there are still some drivers back there still waiting to see how it plays out. With the draft here, you can make your moves. Now, I wouldn't wait too long. Usually, Chris, I would wait around the 20 lap mark, 20 laps to go, to try to see if I can work my way up. Unfortunately, what that ends up doing is everyone has that same plan, and that's when we get these 3 wide races for the lead and potential big pileup. As we don't, did you ever find out about the fuel strategy, if they're going to save, or is this going to be all the way to the end?
It would appear as if this is just outside the fuel window. There are cars that are going to top off. A bunch of guys are going to come down and top off. The fuel window is about 33, 34 laps, maybe 35. But to make it from here, they are going to have to save a little bit. A lot of guys are saying that if you are out front, it's going to be closer to 32. If you run in the pack and save a little bit, it's going to be closer to 34, 35. So we are going to have a strategy race. I jinxed these guys by saying they did not want to see a caution before that 35 to go. Well, we're going to go green coming to 35 to go.
All right. Well, that's you heard it here. There's going to be a lot of strategy out front. You're probably going to still see some drivers still hoping that there may be a late race yellow to allow them to come back down and get more fuel. But right now it looks like the pace car is leading the front of the field here. About 50-50 split between drivers that went back down pit road to get more fuel to try to see if they can play the fuel mileage race, and the other 50 saying we'll rather be out front and die trying than to ever save fuel. So which way were you, Chris? Were you more of a live and die by the sword, go up front and try to lead the whole thing, or if there was a fuel strategy thing option, you go towards hardy saving and leave the fun at the end?
Well, funny you should ask. After the duels the other night, I was one of the guys that lived out in the front, pitted, and ultimately did not make the Daytona 500. by about, I don't know, 6 inches. I missed getting into the Daytona 500, finishing second in my duel to a guy who was able to make it without pitting. So I guess I'll live and die with the track position.
Well, we'll see here if that's going to play out. Definitely, it will change the change the names you see out front if it does come down to a fuel mileage race. As you stated, out front will save you no fuel at all. The drivers that you have in the first few rows will be essentially full throttle. As you see the outside lane get a decent start there, as it looks like the 97 is able to clear himself to the bottom, 57.89 there. With the 37 Ethan Burrell. Now working that high lane. Wow, that outside lane got a really good start there and able to work.
Oh, wow.
7 into the wall a little bit, as it looks like he was trying to push Brent Jones there, and it might have just hooked him into the wall just a bit. So now we'll have to wonder if Ethan Burrell is going to have a serious amount of damage from that.
Wow, so lucky to get away without wrecking there.
You still see people jump into the outside lane, even though it is not formed up. And wow,
Van de Sant just chose to pull out of line.
Yeah, either Van de Sant opted to jump out and go to the back, and still he slapped the wall a little bit there too, or Brent Jones decided to make it 3 wide on him without him wanting to. But Alex Van de Sant, nonetheless, is dropping back. Maybe on the ops to save fuel. You would think he would come down pit road and top off, but maybe he last minute decided that this thing may go green all the way to the end. Even with all the bumping we're still seeing out front.
Yeah, and one car who's came through the field, Daniel Martinez, he pitted topped off there, coming to 1 to go, and he is the 4th car in line on the outside at this point.
Well, now you see Brent Jones out front here, lap 68, leading here around the field for Do Good Motorsports with the 90 of Scott Crump right behind him, able to get himself out front once again, 57, showing that he is a wonderful pusher and helping these drivers find a way out to the front with his front bumper.
Gerald,
oh, is
you see who snuck back into this race all of a sudden?
Is that Chad Frankenfield that you
That
speak
is
of?
Chad Frankenfield up there. Yes, it is.
Well, good. We were just talking how we needed a yellow. No, I'm joking. As Chad Frankenfield does find himself out front, makes me wonder. I mean, I would have thought I would have seen a lot more drivers saving, but all of a sudden it's go time. These drivers, we're seeing more drivers starting to work their way up to the front, trying to get to the front of this thing than we have for a majority of this middle part of the race.
I think Tyler Fody is trying to sit in line and save some fuel. I think Van de Sant fell back to save some fuel. I think we're seeing the guys that have controlled this race, they've realized what's going on here. And these other guys are just like, you know what, this is my chance to get myself out front and just hope that the caution falls.
Again, more drivers we haven't seen out front too much. Michael Goodman actually was involved in a couple little scrimmages as well, a little bit of damage from a couple of those other wrecks for Do Good Motorsports. Now finds himself leading that outside lane, so Do Good coming on strong here. Ooh, how's the 33 of Daniel Martinez gets a little sideways, almost collected into a scuffle there with the 89 there on that trial.
I can't imagine that 44 machine is a great leader to have. That car's got some nose damage. I mean, if you're Daniel Martinez, you probably have to be pushing him pretty hard.
Absolutely, as right now they are able to work themselves up there, but not definitely I would think that in the same predicament there, that 33 is hoping that he can find a way to get the 44 out of his front nose, because right now he's got to be pushing him harder than if it was a normal truck with a clean vehicle in front of him. Good onboard shot to give an idea just how hard Daniel Martinez is pushing.
And something that neither one of us have really touched on tonight that you have to do when you're in these races, and it'll become a factor the later we get, the harder the pushes get. You know, you got to keep an eye on your temps. You can't let your water in a little bit too hot. You can blow up. We have seen them blow up. You know, the last thing you want to be is running up there in the first 5 or 6, blow a motor and cause a big wreck.
Now Michael Good might have cleared himself and gets himself down to the bottom lane. So 33 doing a wonderful job of being able to get that hurt truck up out front. Is going to try to see if he can get. Nope. I was just going to say, hope to get side by side with the 90 before the 90 decided to jump out to the outside, but unfortunately was not able to get there in time. Oh, Daniel Martinez going high. I've seen, don't do that too often to the 15. I have seen him take it 3 wide down the middle if you give him the opportunity. I think the only saving grace for the 33 is the 15's got some damage on his front nose. Or
how good of a pusher do you think Chad can be right here?
Well, when you're behind another driver, it kind of negates the front end damage a little bit. So you see his hood popped up a little bit on screen on board with 15. So Chad Frankfield's definitely got some damage. Don't push there, Chad. Don't push the left side of the bumper. That will turn a driver around very quickly. Luckily, didn't turn him around this time. But yeah, you just got to be careful. With front end damage, he can push pretty well, but you got to be careful about hooking him because it's not going to be a clean edge anymore. It makes it easier to be able to turn a driver around. Just what these other drivers wanted to hear with heavy pushing out front of them. Well, so far, Chris, we're doing a good job of not jinxing any drivers and going on board with them. That's something a lot of broadcasters have issue with, but you and me...
We got a third lane. Here it comes.
Is it coming?
It's the 88 and the 29. They just went to the top and passed about 7 trucks down the backstretch. I don't know if it's guys that are saving fuel or what, but they just went by them like they were sitting still down the back.
Well, so far, yeah, you see them right there starting to work that outside lane there. They are continuing as they are making some heavy progress as the 3 tried to jump to the outside to block their momentum. Did cut their momentum off, but that is some dangerous moves. And again, that's a rookie driver there that decided to make that move. They will remember that because it gets pushed to the end. That they may not trust a driver to do that late in this run.
We got some guys backing up here. It looked like Ethan backed up, Fody backed up a little bit. I think these guys are thinking fuel, but man, looking at this race, and I'm thinking, I don't think fuel's going to be an issue. I think we're going to wreck again.
Yeah, they are not taking it easy by any means. It's 3 wide for the lead. 3 wide for the lead as it looks like Holmes is going to try to get the 88 out front on the high side there with the help of Elam. Trevor Elam there in the 29, pushing him very well on the high side. Is able to clear, drops all the way down to the bottom. Is able to clear himself for the lead in front of Scott Crum.
Ethan Burrell just pulled out of line again. He's going all the way to the back. Ethan's dropping all the way to the back of this lead draft, it looks like.
Yeah, for 25 laps left in this race, they are starting to push, trying to find a way up to the front. Ethan Burrell has made his living off of avoiding these wrecks and is hoping to do it once again tonight. May find his way back up to the front once it's thinned out a little bit. But right now, the driving is very intense up here at the front of the field. About this time is when you start looking for your teammates. Start looking for a way to be able to know someone behind you is there with you to the end and can push your way out front. So you will start seeing some of these teammates starting to look for one another to try to find that help to be able to see if they can get a shove out front. We have seen now the 3rd lane is available. These drivers sure have taken note of that as they all have put that in their pocketbook for later on, that if they need to, they can drive to that 3rd lane and be able to rocket themselves out to the front of the lead.
I kind of feel like there's more to that than just a 3rd. I think some guys have started saving. I think some guys have realized here at 25 to go, you know, I see Fody, I see Burrell, I see Van de Sant. They are riding out behind this pack, just running probably half throttle, maybe not even. I think those guys have realized how close the fuel is going to be in there. They have went into save mode.
One driver that I can very easily say has not done any type of saving has been Scott Crum. Out front from the majority of this, has not gone to the back to save like his other competitors, and still battling for the lead up here. Full throttle for sure. What do you say, Chris?
Oh yeah, if you're leading, you have to you really can't save if you're the leader. If you're the lead truck, you're kind of falling on the sword for everybody.
Same with the outside. First couple roads there, definitely going to be the ones that use up the fuel. Anyone behind them could be doing partial throttle. That's how you save the fuel. If you can be able to lift out of that throttle, that's all going to your bottom line with laps to make it.
Yeah, and a lot of guys drag brake here in a pack too. Like, what saves fuel is if you don't drag the brake, you just run that part throttle. You don't try to get full throttle, but you don't try to get all the way out of the throttle either. And you stay off the brake pedal, right at the back, like we're seeing Fody do, Van de Sant's doing. Ethan's kind of driven back up through there.
He's dropping back.
Yeah, Trey Holmes, 88 driver, got out to the front on that third lane. Maybe just was checking to see if he could do it. Now he's dropped back to the back. Maybe doing like you stated, saw that he was using up too much fuel and decided to save. So it's hard to see what these drivers really, what their game plan is. Only these drivers and maybe some of their teammates will actually know what's in store, what they're planning, how they're going about trying to accomplish their goals here. But what this has done is it's it's got this circulation effect. Drivers in the back saving fuel. They find themselves saving enough fuel, find themselves going to the front as the ones that were in front dropping to the back to save fuel. And it's just this continual cycle of drivers going from front to back as fuel continues to be a question in these drivers' minds.
Yeah, and this is as calm as it's been. Look at this. Look at everybody on the bottom. Everybody's on the bottom, riding in line. They're all thinking the same thing. We have got to stretch the fuel. And I don't have a list in front of me. All I know is that I do know for sure Daniel Martinez came and topped off, but there were others as well. And that is going to help, especially if you're able to sit there like Martinez is up that close to the front and save that fuel there. He's ninth car in line. He's running the bottom, just riding, saving fuel. He's got just a little bit more fuel than everybody else. He doesn't have to save quite as much.
There you can see in this top 8, we have Elam and looks like Weeks are the two that came in one lap later.
If it truly does come down to a fuel strategy, I don't think it's going to be anyone in the top 8 that has a shot at it. Maybe Burrell, but other than that, I think the top 8, if it does come down to fuel mileage, they're all going to be using up a lot more fuel than where our winner may be coming out of. It may be a driver all the way back in the 20s right now, for all we know. But we'll have 20 laps to decide that. As you see them all really spaced out, all full save mode right now.
And one thing I'll say about Trevor Elam, yeah, that's great that he came and topped off, but leading the race completely throws that out. Like, if he's going to sit here and lead the race, it throws out any advantage he had by topping off.
Yeah, Trevor Elam, Scott Crump, or if it's a fuel strategy, they're out of it. Chad Frankenfield, with his front end damage, there's no way he can save fuel like the other drivers. Any driver with damage right now is having to drive their car with more throttle than some of these drivers with a completely clean vehicle. They're able to use the vehicle natural draft to be able to save them fuel. These drivers like Chad Frankenfield with damage on the front end is having to push their truck too hard to be able to keep up with the draft right now. So Chad Frankenfield's probably burning more fuel than any of these other drivers in front of him. See Michael Goodman trying to get that outside lane working, and that shows you how much it's saving. When one driver is getting that outside lane going, Michael Goodman all by himself, all the way to the outside, going to try to see if he finds himself in the front. Oh, 29 got a little loose, trying to save more than the 90 was expecting.
I am being told right now, some guys have said they have saved enough. They've saved since the drop. Tyler Fody just pulled out of line, made some big moves. We've got guys moving to the top who have been saving this whole run. They think that they are good to go from this point. They think they have saved enough.
Wow, this adds more strategy. Now that more drivers will have saved enough, we will go back to pack driving and pack racing as you'll see them all start to gather back up to the front now that they essentially know they're good to go. We're going to be back to what we've seen where it's 2x2 racing hard once again. Just so much going into this. Wouldn't you say, Chris?
I think this is monkey see, monkey do. I think somebody decided that they're good, and now a bunch of guys are deciding that they're good. I think in the last 2 or 3 laps of this race, we are going to see a lot of guys run out of fuel and come to find out they're not good.
Yeah, we'll see. There's just there's too many drivers to try to say who's got this in the bag. There's so much going on that this has just become a phenomenal race, just in the aspect of you have no idea. These drivers out here have no idea of if they're in the right strategy or not. Oh, Matthew Weeks get turned sideways there by Goodman, and it sent him into the grass. Keeps it going, no caution, but that will be the end of Matthew Weeks' chance at winning tonight's Daytona race. Wow. Well,
and a lot of these guys are going to sit there and say they're good, running 20th in line. They're going to pull out, get to the front, and they're going to use a little more fuel. That's going to have to level out a little bit, and you might not be as good as you think.
Or around.
Oh, never mind. We got a car around 55. That will change everything. Caution is out.
Ethan just got spun in it too, I think.
Yeah, a couple drivers. 55 still losing it here on the high bank and low speeds. Definitely upsets the truck a lot as it turns him around in front of the field.
Well, that ends all the fuel strategy.
Like Chad gives him a little help here.
Yeah, you can't anticipate Chad giving you a break. You're not getting that break from Chad.
Yeah, he probably saw that it was league admin. Oh, maybe he'll let me. Not this league admin. Not today.
Maybe Chad wanted to
yellow. Not that was Chad's fault. That guy he turned down across Chad, that's his fault. But it was that close where maybe he's thinking, I'll get down here, Chad will cut me a break. Chad's not going to cut you a break, especially like you said, David. Chad needs a yellow. He hasn't saved any fuel. He's wanting to keep some track position.
I don't know if that was really. It does help Chad Frankenfield overall in that aspect because he's going to come down pit road, top off on fuel, and be good. But they are going to get the 55 Italian because ultimately the 55 could try to clear himself. But again, that's kind of what Chad needed more than anything.
I will say this. It looked like the 55 started to come down, and then he stopped, and then he decided, all right, I think I'll go ahead and cut. Like, he knew Chad was there, and then he just tried to finish coming down.
Well, he'll learn. He's a rookie driver. If you see Chad Frankenfield, you give him a little bit of space. The rest of Elite knows Chad Frankenfield is a hard-nosed driver. He will not give up that spot if it means anything. It's his spot. And if he has the nose there, you give him that nose.
Yeah, this tells me all I need to know about the tomfoolery going on with some of these guys who said, oh, we're good to go on fuel and went to the front. Here they come down to get fuel, but I thought they were good on fuel.
You also got to remember this, Chris, that they may be planning that there might be a green-white checker. Now that we're going to be all good to go and essentially all back up to pile or compacted once again to each other, there's a good chance that we may have some yellows here to extend this race.
Yeah, for sure. You never, I don't think you ever see one of these finish in regulation very often.
Some of them, but when it gets down to Daytona and the victory means so much here, with so many of these new drivers joining us for this race, there's going to be a lot of unknowns, so the chances of us seeing something happening is pretty high. You can feel the pressure going down on the drivers that are still out there. They are all resetting. They are all trying to figure out where they're going to be right now, coming off of pit row, what lane they're going to join into, and try to figure out a way to get themselves up to the front. There's going to be 30 drivers still out there and 30 drivers with a game plan to win it.
You know what surprises me here is that Scott Crump, Chad Frankenfield, those two cars have ran at the front. Chad with the damage, we saw him, run right here at the front as well. They chose to stay out instead of coming and getting the fuel. And you would think the other guys that saved a little bit were in a better fuel position than them.
Yeah, you have a good point. I'm not sure why Scott Crump hasn't come in. Maybe he is doing a really good job saving under caution here. But yeah, he's definitely, if it comes down to it and he's still running at the end, he's definitely going to have the least amount of fuel out of any driver in the field.
And maybe they're banking on more caution. You can save a lot under a caution. This is probably going to make them good to regulation. But if we start getting into green white checkers, and even if there's another caution in regulation, it's probably good for one green white checkered. But anything after that, you have to think those guys are going to maybe be running out of gas.
We've got a lot of strategy going on. Right now, we've got Brent Jones out front with another driver we haven't seen out front for this entire race, the 24 of Michael Bozak out there as well, out onto the outside. So new drivers once again out front. Here we got Sean Ryan, Tyler Fody still up there. Scott Crump back into it again now with hopefully some fuel strategy saving him. 97 trying to find his way back out front again. So once we've got this down pat that they've got enough fuel, I feel like our strong competitors that we saw out front are going to try to work their way back up there once again.
Oh, I don't anticipate any saving. Even if you stayed out here and it was kind of close, it's going to be crazy racing from here on out.
Well, we're going to be coming to 12 laps to go before we crown a new, a Daytona champion here tonight in the Truck Series, and finish off race 1 of the 11-race regular season before we get into the chase. 14 drivers make it in. Could definitely help out any of these drivers tonight getting themselves a win. Brent Jones is going to lead us to this restart with 12 laps to go. Will it be him? Will it be one of these other drivers behind him that is able to complete it? Pace car is going to be off, and we will be going back green flag racing here at Daytona.
If I'm one of these other guys, I'm looking at 3rd, 5th, and 7th. I do not want those 3 to get back out front and get control of this race. You've got them kind of stuck behind a few cars. If I'm one of these other guys, I'm going to try to make sure that they don't get back control.
Well, Scott Crump is already finding a way to get to the outside lane and trying to get himself back up front. You see a lot of maneuvering side by side as they are all pushing really hard. You're seeing a lot of drivers right there, a lot of maneuvering back in the back of the pack, trying to find their way out front. I got to warn the 24, do not leave that inside lane there open. The 15 will absolutely take it. We've already seen a driver come off his nose. Now, as you see some more drivers getting wiggly back there in the middle of the pack, it is kicking off here with 11 laps coming to go.
Brent Jones doing a great job. I talked about him a little bit earlier. That's a guy that's became a pretty good super speedway racer. And that's a guy that's probably going to be a fixture in the finish of this thing.
Always finds a way to find himself in the mix at the end of this. Does a wonderful job of keeping his truck clean. Doing a wonderful night trying to top off his best race of elite racing, I believe. If he can be able to finish up front here, I would definitely say this is probably one of his best races he's done. But we are starting to see a third lane starting to form here. And forming it is. There's 3 trucks on the high side lane there. The 29 are both on the outside trying to see if they can get that speed and momentum up on that third lane.
Business is picking up, Gerald.
3 wide at the line. That time around, the 3 truck was able to lead that lap, is able to clear himself of the bottom 2 lanes. We'll see if he ducks down. He does. He goes.
We got Chad around.
Chad Frankenfield turned in front of the field. Wow, he gets shot up. Chad Frankenfield, to the moon he goes, as he got launched after making contact with the wall. Once again, Netco getting him sideways. Wow.
And that's going to Tom Bourne, Daniel Martinez,
The
Trey
88
Holmes.
also got stuck into the wall. There's something on that wall that is catching him, and it just, I don't know if Chad Frankenfield knocked something off the wall, but it stopped Daniel Martinez's truck just completely. 200-0 right there.
Kwame Scott got a piece of it. Michael Goodman got a piece of that. I believe that was another netcode too. I'm pretty sure
No,
that was netcode.
that was netcode. Unfortunately, is the truck underneath Chad was almost the truck length below him. It just it hooked him. We've seen for some reason when there's a netcode and a truck hits the wall, it sends them flying. So netcode must be revolved around the truck that goes flying into the air. Unfortunately, that was Chad Frankfield. I don't think he's coming back from that win there, Chris.
Yeah, I'd say it was a great effort. Way to stay determined. Way to stay with it. Try to give yourself a shot for Chad. Way to never give up. It's a great, it's a great motto there. Never give up, because he ended up here with the shot, and he was up in it. But I think the motor blew there, and that truck is now dead tonight.
Well, we're seeing one of our rookie drivers. We've talked about him. There's a lot of them out there. Joyner in the 3 truck there has been making some very, very, very evasive maneuvers to get himself up to the front. Very, very quick to be able to put his truck into a lane that he feels is going to be able to get into the front, and has done so with less than 8 laps to go. Now finds him out front, but once again, we've stated it multiple times. He is around a lot of drivers that may not know him. And it's going to be interesting to see if they work with him or if they're going to try to find a way to get around him. Because right now, he is the only rookie truck in the top 6.
He really, being the leader, you kind of give him no choice. They got to push you here. There's nothing they can do at this point. It's not like somebody running 5th, 6th, 7th, and you're kind of got a choice like, hey, I'm going to go with this guy. He's the leader. You don't have a choice if you're restarting behind him, you're wanting to go somewhere. Like, you got to push that 3, and it's kind of fitting here. Here we are sitting almost to the end of this thing, and we got a black number 3 leading the race at Daytona.
There you go. I will state, though, I have a strong feeling Scott Crump is going to find a way to duck up to the high side lane, though. I highly doubt I will see Scott Crump push someone to the lead here. He's going to try to find a way to get into the outside of the 3 car as fast as he can.
Yeah, and the big 3, I'm calling them the big 3 for tonight. Crump, Fody, and Van de Sant are all kind of separated now. Van de Sant is going to line up behind Crump here, but they've lost Fody on that bottom lane. And so far, mission accomplished for the rest of the field, keeping those guys split up.
Well, again, Brent Jones having himself a green night, finds himself second, still has a shot to be able to get that outside lane going, clearing to get himself back out to the front. The 29, we've seen him push a few drivers out to the front as well. A lot of times it's been in the 3rd lane. It's going to be finding himself in 4th, so we'll see how well he's able to push the 89. So there's still a cast of characters that we've seen, but still some new ones starting to work their way up there. We got the 93 back there, the 09 starting to find themselves in the top 10 here late in the run. Trying to see if maybe they can sneak themselves in a good run at the end of this.
Yeah, and one interesting thing there at the choose, the leader gets to choose. I don't think we have a choose as far as like they have in real life, but
not in the super speedways, but we will have choose later on.
But that 3 car chose the bottom instead of the top with the guy that pushed him to the front. I agree with the call. My question is, does the 29 car agree with the call?
Well, again, I think the question will come is if the 90 car of Scott Crump is able to push clear both him and the 3 past the 89. Because I have a feeling if he is able to push the 3 past the 89, he is going to jump back up to the high side and allow himself to be pushed past that 3 and clear him before they're able to line back up on the bottom. So we'll have to see. If I was the 3, I'd be trail braking just a little bit just to make sure the 89 of Brent Jones was going to be able to stay to the outside of the 90. Because, again, if that 90 is able to clear that outside lane, that is exactly where he's going to go.
I'd be careful trail braking, though, because Scott's one of those guys that if he thinks you're riding the brake to try to keep him behind you, he might just connect to you and say, go ahead and hit that brake pedal, see if you wreck.
Well, it's a victory at Daytona. It's worth a shot. We'll see how he does it, though, as here we come down to the restart lane. Back green flag once again. The 3 car able to get going. The 89 had a wonderful restart. 3 did not get going as well as I had thought, and that's going to allow the outside lane maybe a chance to get a momentum and get Brent Jones clear of the lead here.
Yeah, he brought him down and let the green actually get waved instead of going in the zone. And I mean, when that green comes out, it's time to go. But look at this, Fody up on the very top. No help.
Very top, all by himself, trying to get it going. As there's 3 lanes, there's even lanes, I don't know if it's 3 or 2 back there. There is a lot of shuffling going around. Scott Crump, unable to get himself clear, is now going to be forced to be behind the 3. But now we have 3 lanes, as you stated, starting to find their way up to the front. Fody and that very high lane's now going to be on the outside of Brent Jones, as here they come to the start-finish line with 5 laps left to go here at Daytona.
I think they need one more car at least in that 3rd lane to go somewhere.
I don't think they're coming back around to finish this thing. They're pushing and shoving. Oh, the 3 got hit. The 90 got hit a little bit there. They're
it's the bottom lane that gets checked up like that. And we're 3 wide for the lead down the back.
3 wide down the lead, but the bottom lane's going to lose all their momentum, and that's going to allow Fody to find himself back out front.
What a move by Fody. Wow.
Clears himself of the 29 kind of forcibly, but he finds himself now back onto the bottom lane, as there is still a lot of checkups. Oh, we got a wreck.
That's big.
We have about 4, 5, 6 trucks involved now as the 90 hits the inside wall hard. And again, we see another truck flying into the stratosphere once again, as that might have been netcode once again here tonight.
Our 3rd space shuttle of the night.
No, that wasn't netcode, but that did send him to the high side. Those walls are made out of rubber or something, because it just sends someone flying. Unfortunately, that truck just hit the wall and it's just dead. Unfortunate for the rookie driver there of Trey in the 57. He is going to end his night here. Was having a fantastic run, showing that he deserved to be up there, but unfortunately the 3 just got him a little hooked going into the middle of that turn and sent him flying.
And we got Scott Crump and Van de Sant both caught up in that. So that's 2 of our big 3. The other of the big 3, Tyler Fody. What an incredible job he did on that restart to come from he restarted 8th, 10th? He just moved up to the 3rd lane and said, I'm going to send it and see what happens.
Yeah, you would have thought with the risky moves he was making, he was going to be the one involved in the wreck, and unfortunately for the rest of them, that was not the case. He was actually the one that was well clear of any kind of carnage behind him, and unfortunately for Scott Crump, who had a dominant night tonight, might be one of those contenders for the most laps led, is going to be finishing his night here tonight, as that was a hard hit to the inside wall. But once again, that shapes it up. That took out a few of those rookie drivers, and now that's bringing up more drivers that we haven't talked about, as we've got some Matthew Weeks that was spun around. I thought his night was over. Finds himself back in 5th. I should have known better. Pro Edge finds their way up there as another Pro Edge driver in 6th of Ethan Burrell. Both those drivers might find a way to be able to team up together.
I don't think Ethan's going to be a fact. He was in that wreck pretty hard. That car's pretty hurt.
Tyler McIntosh there in 09. Pretty paint job, and that truck is still running very well, and doesn't look like he's had any contact. Finds himself in 7th position. I believe that might be his teammate right behind him. That's Michael Goodman there. Jeff Knoll in the 55. Are they teammates there, David?
They are not.
Okay.
No is on Eon Sports. Motorsports.
Well, that's another pretty truck there. Finds himself in the 9th position. Kwame Scott. Haven't talked about him that much as I thought we would have. And he finds himself in 10th position. I don't know if he had damage that's relegating him to the back. Again, no player. I haven't talked about him at all, which is probably to his thankfulness, is that his last season was really rough for him, as he's hoping to have a much cleaner go of it this time around. Cash James and the 39, haven't talked about him as well in that black truck, doing really well. Good job there in 12th. Sean Ryan back there in 13th. Sam Atwell having himself a really good night as well. Finds himself in 14th. He might be the last driver for Wally Racing there, as the rest of them might have been clocked out. But with 30 truck there, that's a really pretty truck there, Chris. That 30 is, I really like that. That's nice.
Yeah, it's not running at the front to show it off, but I mean, he's still here. Got a little damage. You mentioned Kwame Scott there. He's been in a few wrecks tonight, and it's been a trying night. Man, Ethan Burrell here, I talked about him when you were going through the field there. That truck was in this last wreck pretty hard, and he has chose to stay out and see what happens. I don't think that he's going to be able to hold on here. I don't think that truck is a competitive truck in the state it's in.
Well, we're going to have a green-white checker. I talked about it. I said these drivers had come down to pit to take on fuel there just so that they had enough for a green-white checker, because we are allowed up to 3 green-white checkers. We were wondering if the 90 was going to make it on fuel. He made it up to the point where he hit the wall, and that was enough for his fuel strategy. So we won't have to worry about Scott Crump making it for sure, but the rest of these drivers, I'm wondering if some of these had stayed out, if they had saved enough. I know Tyler Fody was one of those that stayed out. So depending on how many green-white checkers we have, we'll have to see if he's going to have enough to be able to finish out tonight's race.
Just using one, right, Gerald? That's all we're going to need tonight, right?
Yeah, we'll see. There's still a lot of trucks left, and we've seen what Tyler Fody did and the rest of the field did, as well as he was able to make it 3 wide from the very beginning of the restart there. So we'll see if any other drivers are able to make that maneuver happen. As green-white checker is applied now, we are going to go green, have 2 laps potentially here to finish it. Tyler Fody is going to be running on that bottom lane. We'll find out if any drivers have any momentum on that high side to be able to clear themselves for the lead. Looks like Trevor Elam there in the 29 going to get a push by the 89 there, Brent Jones in that high lane, trying to see if they can be able to work it, as a few drivers are sideways back there. Still going green. I'm not sure what happened back there.
And look at these guys not wanting to help Fody stay in the lead.
No.
Trevor's going to get clear.
Yeah, Trevor Elam is able to clear himself down below. Is Tyler Fody going to be able to clear himself to the 89 to jump back up to the high side?
Oh, it wasn't clear.
It was not clear, but he tried. There's still contact.
Oh,
There
number
they
3.
come. White flag. It looks like Matthew Weeks is going to go sideways. The drivers you see here still
we're
more
looking up here. It's
contact
going
being
to
made.
be
Tyler
Fody.
Fody is involved. More heavily contact. 39 involved with him. Heavy contact. Back up front. What's going on? Trevor Elam still out front. 24, Michael Hosak right behind him. The 9 of Sean Ryan is going to have a push from Kendall Noah Player, as Brent Jones and Michael Goodman from Do Good Motorsports is going to try to get that outside lane running. Still, those 2 out front, the 29 leading the 24, coming around 3 and 4, white flag. They'll be going checkered here at the line. Is the 24 going to have any type of run on the 29? Coming out of turn 4, the 24 is going to try to see if he can peek to the outside. Unable to do anything. 29 still out front, and he's going to be able to do it. Coming across the line, the 29 will win tonight's race at Daytona as they wreck across the finish line behind him. Trevor Elam able to get it done, able to clear himself to get down to the bottom, and able to keep him behind him. Comes away with tonight's memory lane 250 at Daytona victory for Fueled Up Racing. Wow, Chris, that was a lot of carnage at the end. A lot of drivers pushing really hard to try to see if they can get themselves up, at least side by side with Trevor. Unable to do it, as Trevor was able to keep everyone behind him and able to come away with a victory. But that was a lot of wrecking. There's going to be a lot of mad drivers at the end of this.
Yeah, and before we get into who's mad and who's not, I think the 24 is going to be disappointed in himself. I think when they separated, his shot to win really didn't happen. He needed them to get there. He needed to back up, I think, down the backstretch off of that 29 and try to build a run. And I think he might have had a shot. He really didn't have a play off of 4. He didn't have any kind of a run, any kind of momentum. But what a finish. I mean, we wrecked the whole field just about there at the end. Incredible finish, and a great job by Trevor.
Absolutely. Trevor Elam was driving behind him. he was looking in his mirror the entire time, able to place his back bumper in every direction, able to read the movement of the 24 the entire time. 24 was not able to figure out a way to get around him, and all that did was push Trevor Elom across the finish line, able to get himself with tonight's victory. Let's go ahead and give a rundown of tonight's finishes, because there's a lot of drivers that are going to be pretty pleased with themselves, and there's going to be a lot of drivers that are absolutely going to be furious about where their night ended tonight.
Oh, that's starting 11. I don't want to start at 11. So.
Yeah, we'll give it over here to David here, and he'll give us the rundown.
That is the qualifying results. There we go. First place, Trevor Elam. Second place, Michael Hosack. Third place, Kendall Noah Player. Fourth, Sean Ryan. Fifth, Brent Jones. Sixth, Michael Goodman. Seventh, Nathan Mon. Eighth, Tom Bourne. Ninth, Ethan Burrell. 10th, Wesley Crump. 11th, Daniel Martinez. 12, Matthew Weeks. 13, Tyler McIntosh. 14, Jeff No. 15, Tyler Dixon. 16, Tyler Fody. 17, Adam Newbert. 18, Cordy McCorkle. The next set, okay. 19, Sam Boutwell. 20, Kynan Jones. 21, Cash James. 22, Kwame Scott. 23, Robert Hill. 24, Alex Van de Zandt. 25th, Latham Joyner. 26th, Scott Crump. 27th, Trey Eidson. 28th, Trey Holmes. 29th, Chad Frankenfield. 30th, Mark Murphy. 31st, Cody Harrington. 32nd, Dustin Durer. 33, Dylan Jones. 34th, Andrew Hardcastle. 35, Elayton Norgard. 36, Jeff Green. 37, Corey Abbott. 38, Zach Evans. 39, Michael York. 40, Ray Bracey. 41st, Ethan Stanley. 42nd, Alec Balvans. And bringing up the rear is 43, Cole Snyder.
Well, we're going to go ahead and bring in our third place driver here of Kendall Noah Player. I talked about him. I said just a good finish is what he was looking for, and he almost got second by 1/1000th of a second. Kendall Noah, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. We had talked about you right before we went onto that restart. You were back in like 10th place, and all of a sudden, there at the end, with all the carnage, able to sneak away, get that high lane rolling, and able to find yourself in the battle there at the end. What would it have taken for you to get up to the front? Was it just they were too far out in front? Was it just a little too hard, or not people not working together enough to try to see if they could get out to the front? What would it have taken for you to get that victory at the end of it?
I think it might have taken like that group of four with us staying in line, and we could have got up there a little bit quicker than we did. I was pushing the hell out of the 9 and Sean Ryan. It was a little sketchy there. I almost turned him a couple times, but if we would have stayed in line, we would have caught up there a little bit quicker, and then we probably would have had a lot more aggressive moves. But I know the 89 and 44 are teammates, so they were going to try and get each other up there. But having a clean car would have been nice too, but with that run there's a lot of checkups, and I had some nose damage. It wouldn't quite suck up as well as I wished, but yeah, that's Daytona for you.
Well, overall, for Racing Point Limu Emu, I wish you would change that name. Regardless, for your team there, that was a good third place finish for you for Daytona. Are you going to do the whole season? I know last season you just anytime we mentioned you had the worst luck. Do you think maybe luck's changed around? You find yourself in third place here with everyone turning around in front of you and clearing them. Do you think maybe the luck's back on your side? Maybe you go out and win Pocono or something?
My luck's always been a lot better in the fall seasons. If you look at my wins in Elite, you got the Daytona was the fall season, the Pocono Sweep was in the fall season, and that's pretty much all the Elite wins that I had, other than 2 off-season series. But I want to try and run full time if I can. Sometimes work doesn't really work out that way, but hopefully I can continue to run full time on Sunday nights and see where it'll go.
All right, sweet. I hope to see you later. More races, Kendall. Hopefully, you can qualify into some of these. We saw how difficult qualifying will be with the amount of drivers that are entering. Uh, is that the main goal? Just try to see first off if you can get into these races, just because of how packed and stacked these fields are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a little lucky. I was the 24th guy of 24 guys that transferred, and thanks to Fireblaze for not running tonight, so that made it 24 instead of 23. Um, I really wish there was a little bit different way for us to do this stuff, but I mean, when you got 80 some people that want to sign up, it's kind of hard to turn it down and brag about it.
Oh, well, hopefully we get to see you next week at I believe the next race I mentioned a couple of times was going to be Nashville. Hopefully, we can see you there at Nashville and get you back into the race and find your way
Yeah.
up to the front. But overall, we'll give it back over to you to do your thank yous and shout outs, and overall have a good race tonight. And hopefully, we'll see you at more some of these Daytona races here.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Tyler Dixon for sponsoring the series. It's great to have him on. I'd like to thank KMP Graphics for painting all these beautiful cars, even though I didn't paint myself a beautiful truck. Then I've got Mad Cats and Carolina Fire Hot Sauce and Bar Visuals. I think that's it.
Well, overall, Kendall, good third place, almost second place again by 1/1000th of a second was the difference there. But overall, hope to see you again, Noah, and we'll wish the best of good luck in your fortune for the rest of this season.
All right, thank y'all.
That was your third place driver there. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can bring up our second place of Michael Hozak. I believe he's is he down there? I don't see him. No, I don't see Michael Hozak. Finishes second tonight, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can bring up our Daytona champion of Trevor Elam. And joining us tonight is your Daytona champion in the Truck Series. Was able to get the third lane working a few times as the one that was pushing most of the time, but at the end of it, it was him being out front, using his back bumper to do what it was made for and keep him behind him. Trevor Elam comes away with the victory. Trevor, what was that last lap about? All the craziness behind you, I'm sure you didn't have any of that planned, but what did it take for you to get this victory tonight?
Well, like you said, man, did not have any of that planned. Heart was racing. It was crazy, man. I was not expecting to come back around first. I'll tell you that much. I put the bumper to Fody, the back bumper to Fody, coming off forward to the white flag, and he, stuffed it in the wall with some other guy. And then me and Hosek, we got away. Dude, it was just us two. I was like, man, it's a 2-car race. It's going to be pretty easy. Coming off forward, I see this whole wad of trucks coming. And then Hosek, I thought Hosek would be more aggressive with his move to the outside, but he didn't move very much at all. And it made it, I think, pretty easy to anticipate the block. So it was really cool. It was really cool to be able to do that and then get the win, man. I love this. I love this kind of racing. I love it so much.
Well, you get to be a Daytona champion. They don't get to be called Daytona winners because when you win at Daytona, it means more than anything else. You're a Daytona champion here, and it goes down. That's the number one thing people mention. They mention the Daytona wins more than any other wins than any of the other races. So that's a privilege you get to have now, as you get to be a Truck Series Daytona champion here for the Elite Series. But overall, are you racing for the full season? If that was your plans, if not, is it your plans now?
So we went into the season with a plan to run the full-time schedule and race for the championship in all 3 NASCAR series that Elite runs. And this is a really good start, I think. I was not expecting to even make a run at it because I was choosing different strategies throughout the race. I started, in the back. I started 34th. we were up in 8th place, on lap 5. I was like, man, you know what? I'll run up front. Turned in real quickly that I got pretty hairy up there. I was like, I'll go to the back. And as soon as I dropped out to the back, man, a huge wreck happened. I was like, cool. And it just flip-flopped, man. So if I chose to go to I went to the back and front like 4 times this race. If I chose to go to the back, the wreck happened up front. If I went to the back, or if I went to the front, the wreck happened out back. So it worked out perfectly. But yes, I do plan to run full time in all 3 series this season. It's a great way to start.
Absolutely. Well, as I stated, it's not going to be an easy road, but a win definitely does help. It's not a win and you're in kind of situation as you would expect in most series, but it's pretty close to being a win and you're in kind of a situation. You have to be in the top 12 in points. If you're outside the top 12, it's 13th and 14th driver that has the most wins. So not guaranteed that you're locked in, but definitely is a good step in the right direction as you have 11 races to try to see if you can get yourself into the chase. Do you have to qualify in? I didn't see you as one of the locked-in drivers. Do you have to still go into next week and try to see if you can qualify your way in?
Yep, we're an open truck this season, man. This is my first season in the trucks ever. So we were an open truck tonight. We put it second place in the open qualifying, and then we ended up qualifying 34th for the main event here. So it was a flip-flop thing, but yes, open truck this season.
Well, hopefully we can see you come to Nashville next week and get yourself qualified in, as we will probably have a ton of drivers having to try to qualify in as well there. But overall, good win tonight. Good job placing your truck in the positions it needed to be, as you just stated. Front to back, wherever it needed to be, is where it had to. Is where you put it, and was able to come away with a clean truck and a victory tonight. So overall, a great race for you. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to you later in the season with maybe some more victories under your belt. Maybe even before Daytona's done with. Maybe we'll get you, as you just stated, you'll be driving in all 3 series. But overall, I want to give it back over to you to let you do your thank yous and shout outs, as there no other racetrack or race win would your sponsors be more proud of winning than this one.
Yeah, man. So got a shout out you guys. First of all, you guys do a great job doing this stuff. It's cool to be broadcasted every week. Just for me, it gives me something else to strive for, because I like getting the attention. Hopefully, we get it a little bit more this season. And then also the Elite Racing League. This stuff is awesome. There's no better league out there than I think the Elite Racing League, man. That's why I'm here. And then shout out to Behind the Wall Media. They're my sponsor for all 3 series. Obviously, we brought an unsponsored truck out here tonight. And we brought a chassis from about 8 years ago and Fueled Up Racing did. We got the bottom of the totem pole tonight, but we made it work. And then also, shout out to Fueled Up Racing. Those guys are awesome. Everybody over there, man. My best friends. I love them. We're going to have a great season.
Once again, congratulations to you, Trevor. Hopefully we'll get to see you more. Hopefully this is the start of something great for your season in the Truck Series, your first season in the Truck Series, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again sometime soon.
Awesome. Thank you guys, man. Have a good night.
Well, that was your Memory Lanes 250 race winner here, or race champion here at Daytona. Once again, I like to thank David Huckleberry. You do a wonderful job of doing these broadcasts. It wouldn't be possible without you. And thank you, Chris, for jumping up tonight. I got to say, you may have jumped up into here, but I don't know. That was kind of worth watching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Truck Series, any elite event is worth watching. You got all kinds of races at Daytona coming through the week here. You got F1 about to pick back up. You got going to Nashville next week. Everything in Elite's kicking off right now. It's going nuts. It's great racing. Like you said, every series this week has sent a ton of guys home. There was over 60 cars for Daytona for the 500. There's a ton of guys that had to go home tonight. There's going to be a ton of guys and big names missing the race. Ethan Burrell did not make the Daytona 500. I did not make the Daytona 500. Tonight we had guys that are running for points, didn't make this race. You know, all this stuff is it's really crazy right now at the start of these seasons with the new faces and the new places. And, you know, we got big names missing races. You know, it's a lot of stuff going on. And I just want to thank you guys for inviting me up here tonight and was a great show. It was a great race. We had some strategy. Was there going to be green flag stops? Who could make it on fuel? Ended up not mattering. We crashed all kinds of trucks. And then everybody that was left basically crashed their truck on the last lap. And like you said, David does a good job. Dave's awesome. Dave is like the reason that Elite Racing Network does what it does and is as good as it is right now. And Chad puts on a great show, and you do a great job, Gerald. Typically, I'm the lead broadcaster, but man, anytime you want to lead these Xfinity broadcasts, you're more than welcome to join me. And a quick shout out to Alex again. Thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully he gets better. They get everything figured out, and he can join back with us here before the end of the year.
Absolutely, Chris. It was a pleasure to have you on here. I don't think you and I have ever broadcasted the same thing for a full race, but it was definitely a good night. Couldn't have been a better race for us to join in together, and hopefully all the fans enjoyed it and want to be able to be a part of this as a weekless thing. This can be something that you schedule your timer to, because later in the season, it's only going to get crazier as the championship gets closer, as that cut line gets closer. Again, 80 drivers tried showing up tonight. 43 got to race, and those 43 are going to go down to only being 14, and then from 14 down to 5, and then 5 to 1 champion. And one driver out of 80 some odd drivers trying to qualify in will be a champion at the end of this season. And it's going to be an enjoyable process to watch it. All these new rookies coming into it. Maybe some of these drivers that you've joined on tonight to be able to watch. Again, this is what the Truck Series made to be. It's just all the intensity going down to it to be able to get that elusive championship. That is something that we as broadcasters, as we stated multiple times tonight, is what we always have to bring up, their champion. And well, tonight, Trevor Elam is a Daytona champion. But again, next week, we'll have another race, another opportunity for a driver to get his name out there and show that they're the best of the best in the Truck Series. And I can't wait to do it next week. Join us again at 9 o'clock for the Smokin Gobbler Truck Series Elite Racing League. Joined with me and David. Maybe Chris, maybe we can get Harrison back on. But other than that, we enjoyed you tonight. Have a wonderful night. Get some rest, and maybe we'll see you again for tomorrow night for some Xfinity at Daytona.